Hi, today is Friday, 4th of March 2016. This video is a shortened version of one or two videos that I meant to do that I announced 2 days ago. Basically, this is yet another offer, though job offer really. I've talked in the past how I was available for all manners of IGs of Faex Mundi. I've talked in the past how I was available for anybody who does not feel to be part of an interest group of Faex Mundi. And now I'm addressing particular IGs again, or even not IGs, but still services. I have worked in my past as a day job, as an actual job that I did, as an archivist. I worked at PricewaterhouseCoopers for 5 years as an archivist, and even in jobs prior to that, managing an archive of one way or another was part of what I had to do in my daily work. So I am an experienced archivist. I say this to pretty much any IG, even individual people. If there are individual players, single people out there in all of this sick ongoing who need a personal assistant, and this really goes to, namely a personal assistant managing an archive to whatever extent, or managing just, I encountered a little after the hot phase, or actually at the end of the hot phase, something that back then I called a mind guard. This was before I did away with the infrastructure, when I still had American people, tons of them, connect straight to my brain. Back then it was. I encountered one mind guard, as I called it then. What is a mind guard? It's just a term that I came up for. Something that, for all practical purposes, is something like a bodyguard, just that it is a person placed in front of another person, a person managing things for somebody else. So if you need a personal assistant, or if you need an archivist, whoever you are, you know, you could be Prince Charles, you could be Edward, right? Charles already, I'll take both of them. You could be the Northumberland rich kid. You could be anybody in America. You could be any agency. I am looking for a day job again. I am not kidding you. And part of that should be me working on managing things, and be it quality assurance in some things. I think there should not be any doubts or issues with my level of security clearance or secrecy clearance, because, you know, of all the things that I mentioned in the past, not one of them really is a secret. I mean, you know, anything from the forged Curiosity photographs, which were so badly forged because they wanted people to say, hey, wait a minute, there's something wrong with these photographs, to the invisible screen, which incidentally, I just mentioned this because I noted it today, right now currently is not on over Vienna, at least not in the vicinity where I could receive it. To any of the other things really, nothing of that is a secret. You might think all of these things are secrets. I'm not giving away secrets. I'm not giving away your English usage. This thing here, this is not a secret, and in fact they made train spotting pretty much around the time that I actually got this book, if not even prior, which might be the reason why I never used the coding via this book in the first place as CN2504. But even that is no secret. I never gave away any secrets. I'm just openly talking about things that to anybody in the know it should be pretty obvious. And unfortunately, a whole lot of you, once more I say this, know a wee little bit of one wee little thing, and you think that is the greatest secret ever, when it isn't. And when you don't understand all the other things attached to it and all the other things going on at the same time. So basically, please give me a job. I am awaiting a bill for my recent sojourn at the hospital here in Vienna, and that will drive my bank account crazy. if it at all suffices. So I'm in desperate need of money. I'm still in desperate need of being gotten out of Vienna, ideally. So ideally, say if you're anybody from Albion, I come work over there. I'm an EU citizen, that should not be a problem. If you're in America, I'll come work stateside. I will work at Langley, CIA, if you will, as an archivist of sorts, right? Managing, at PricewaterhouseCoopers we called it internal firm services. And I like how with Langley the firm would be the firm. So the internal firm services, that is where I am at home day job wise. I'm looking for a day job. Please give me a day job. Or if you can guarantee that I am spared attacks from the ex-Austrian filth, I will even work for you here in Vienna. Say if you're someone in the DC tower or in that other tower near United Nations here in Vienna, or if you're anybody else, or if that job at the US Embassy is still vacant, or again vacant, it most probably is not still vacant, but again is vacant, I'm willing to work for you. But you have to send some money advance my way because I'm absolutely broke. And I'm willing to come to wherever in the world you require me to work, be it stateside. I have absolutely no problem. You would have to see to it that I get a green card and a permit and whatnot, but get me nationalized if you want to. You know, Albion, the UK being history and the USA not really being all that united, that is just technicalities, really. You know, if you want to give me another nationality, I'll accept that. Right? I need a job. I will work for anybody, even NASA. If you want somebody, you know, who manages an archive at NASA or anything like that, I will work for anybody. Except, of course, the ex-Austrian Bundesheer and anybody associated with them. But other than them, I will work for anybody if you give me a day job, and I would insist on you getting me out of Vienna, but I would even work in Vienna if you can guarantee that I'm spared attacks by the filth here in ex-Austria. Or any filth out of, not in ex-Austria, but attacking into ex-Austria, attacking me here. If you can, see, you still, I have the impression that you still say, no, there's no war amongst the IGs, you know, we are all civilized, we all get along with one another. Well, if that is so, there is really nothing that should stop you from just saying, well, okay, well then it should be legitimate if we claim the good Mr. Trubshaw. In the sense that, and please all the other IGs, ye with whom we are not at war, because we're also civilized, you stop the fuck attacking him. Okay? So, I am absolutely serious on this. As an archivist, there are things in archives, Langley, elsewhere, all over the place, which never got even put on microfilm way back, decades and decades ago, and never got digitized since then. Physical archive exists out there. And there are stuff that one does not ever scan or else how digitize. I'm good at managing shit like that. I used to do that for years and years and years as a day job, and there is no issues with my security clearance. Okay? At least none that anybody could rhetorically bring up and not have me wipe the floor with him rhetorically. So please give me a job. I will work for anybody out there if you guarantee that I can. And talking about money my way, the state of my apartment with the damaged doors and all other things requires about 2,000, 3,000 euros on me moving out of here to wherever, be it to somewhere else in Vienna or be it completely out of the country. I will have to give the landlord some 2,000, 3,000 euros to repair the damages that I've done to the apartment. I don't have that, so you would have to give me that in advance. So it's just a few $1,000s. In addition to that, if it's in Vienna, and you would have to supply me with an apartment, and be it a hovel like the one here. I mean, this is 32 square meters, which is, I don't know how much that is in square foot, but this is a wee little apartment, right? I will work at Arundel archive, for instance. You know, Edward, hi Edward. I'm happy if you give me, I'd be happy if you'd give me the chance to work over there. And meet Martin, Duncan, and all the other people personally, and whatnot. That'd be very interesting. So basically, I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for a way to stay alive, which is kind of duh, but I'm looking for a job, and I'm absolutely 100% dead serious on me looking for a job. And the thing is, identical to the logic behind me offering way back to any of the underdog IGs that I would try to conquer the world for long, no matter who of you I wind up working with, be it an IG as such, be it an individual person, or be it somebody not really involved with the IGs, that is an IG as a group and an individual out of an IG, or be it anybody not of an interest group of Faex Mundi, it would only aid the state of mankind if I were kept alive and if you gave me a fucking job, okay? And I will not sabotage you, I will not spy on you, I would just do my fucking day job. That's what I do. You would not be able to, I mean, I would not, as I explained in the offer to the underdog IGs, I would not ever directly attack the people or do anything like that. I would manage your attacks, that is, if you want to document and archive your attacks and what you've been doing, I'll do that, no problem. You know, I might get order into whatever existing archive you have. I might be able to make sense of things you have in archives that to you don't make perfect sense, and be it anymore after decades and decades and decades of all manners of stupid super secretizing of everything where knowledge got lost. I might be able to help you if that is your thing. I'm not saying that I'd be snooping around in your archives. I would not. I make this very clear. But if you want me to cite your archives, I'd be willing to do that. I'd be willing to basically. I've been watching. What is that called? I forgot the title of it. I've been watching before I went to the hospital. A couple of episodes of a British comedy. Jeeves and Wooster, very funny stuff. You know, I'm not gonna work as a butler. I'm afraid that is a little beyond me. But in a way, if it's anybody on Albion giving me a job, you know, I could be your Jeeves basically, in an archive somewhere. You know, and if you'd be Edward Worcester, so to speak, fine, you know. I mean, they have a way of getting along, and Jeeves thinks his part and doesn't always express what he thinks about Worcester and so on, but they get along and they profit from one another. So basically, this is what I'm offering here. I am looking for a day job, I'm looking for a bit of money to get out of this destroyed place and have the money for my landlord and not go bust with the bill that comes my way from the hospital, and not having to kill myself because of them maybe putting on cranking the torture again, and so on and so forth. I'd go anywhere in the world. I only speak German and English. I know that is a handicap, I'm sorry. I have passive knowledge of a wee bit of you know, we had Latin at school, so I have a basic passing knowledge of Italian and whatnot, but that is very rusty in general, and it's still, my access to it in the brain is still blocked a little because of the sabotaging routines. So other than German and English, I could not offer any other language, I'm afraid, which means that really this would be working in Vienna for whoever from worldwide, or working on Albion, or working stateside, or Canada, or Australia, or wherever they speak English. Okay? I could try to get my English a little more on the British side of things, if that were necessary. I would not, and the thing I want to point out, I would not really seek a job where I'd be having anything to do with whoever you socialize with, other than, you know, documenting things in an archive, right? That is my preferred job that I'm looking for, right? You do that yourself. Like at PricewaterhouseCoopers, I had nothing to do with the actual clients, other than that I, you know, was the archivist for all of their documents, but I never met a single of the clients and so on and so forth. Okay? So this is the kind of job I'm looking for. I don't want to die. I don't want mankind to go to the dogs. And I am convinced, absolutely convinced, that once you understand that the prime protector of mankind should not go to the dogs, and thus mankind should not go to the dogs, you should see how offering me a day job, that's all I'm asking for, would be a very wise thing. And it would include, as I said, about 2,000, 3,000 euros for getting out of this apartment. If it's to another apartment in Vienna, another 2,000 or so, because they want some money down whenever you move into a new apartment. So 5,000 euros would be what it is. If I move Murica or Albion, you would have to supply me with an apartment. I mean, I would pay the running costs of it, of the money that you'd pay me for my day job there, but organize everything for me, right? So this is what today's video is about. I'd be willing to work for anybody. Agencies in America, for instance, any agency, even armed forces, though with the armed forces again, I'm still not overly fond of the Navy, and I guess I never will be. But if you're Army, if you're Marines, the Marines in particular, there must be some kind of job that I would 100% be able to do for you. Okay? Or you would profit having me do that job. And what I also mentioned earlier is the quality assurance. In all of this mind-fucking going on out there, and all of the grotesqueries that happen in the world, the screaming lack of talent, of it being so grotesquely bad, is something that almost delivers physical pain to me. And I could, say for instance, NASA, the next time you want to forge photographs, even if you want them obviously forged, so that you could just check, well, who out there would say, wait a minute, there's something wrong with them, you still would do good to have quality assurance on that, right? I can do that for you. No shit, right? So I'd even work for the NSA, no kidding, but only if it's here in Vienna. I don't see myself moving to Fort Meade. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. So Fort Meade is out. Other than Fort Meade being out, though, you know, I have an inclination to the Marines, I have an inclination to CIA, and I have an inclination to all of Albion. And if you're a particular individual, not a particular, if you're any individual person in America, there might be tons and tons of people. The whole thing with the American individuals really completely broke off after I deleted the whole infrastructure. So all of the American individuals in Faex Mundi, you know, you've been out of my immediate sight, so to speak, for 2 years or something. But I know that you were there before. And if since then you haven't completely lost it in your scenario apps inside of your heads, you might understand at this point how me working for you would be a good thing. Okay, this is no trap that I try to lay for you. This is a serious, honest offer, you know, and I think it should be understandable. It's not rocket science to understand what I'm trying to say to that, with that. I was intending to, in the second video, as I had in plan, 1 or 2 videos I said I would do. The second video would have been a bit of philosophizing about the state of the world and about e pluribus unum and so on, and whether exactly that means, and that really does not mean union but confederacy, and so on and so forth. I'm gonna can all of that. I am a very sane person. If you want sanity at NASA, if you want sanity anywhere else, and you would do good having a bit of that there, I might be your man. But you would have to pay some, I don't know, up to 10,000 euros advance to get me over there, or if it's in Vienna that I remain, and 3,000 euros for me to get out of this apartment in a civilized manner. And I would appreciate a bit of money coming my way generally as a donation anonymously from whatever Channel Islands bank account or whatever, in order to pay my hospital bills and whatnot. So that's basically this video. Thank you.